The movie Dungeons & Dragons Rogue's Honor is based on a fairly popular game. If you've played the game, you're very familiar with it, and even if you haven't, you're probably familiar with the name. I haven't played it either, but I've heard the name. I don't remember, but there was a movie made of Dungeons & Dragons before, and this one is related to it, but it's a reboot. Perhaps the plan is to turn it into a series if the movie does well. The biggest thing this movie puts out front is that it was made by the same people who made Guardians of the Galaxy. Even in the Marvel franchise, Guardians of the Galaxy is very witty, with all of the characters providing laughs. So maybe that's why this movie is more humorous than serious. There's a determination to keep us smiling no matter what, and even though the humor is somewhat American, I think it's very effective in making us giggle and laugh. I was actually on the fence about watching it, because I didn't think it was something I'd really want to see, but I knew I'd have to see it to believe it. But then I realized that it's actually pretty funny, and it's not very childish, and then I realized, well, there's a dragon in the title. But it's not in the context of the movie, and I thought, well, that's not right, and then I realized, well, there's a dragon in the title. But it's not in the movie. And then it's in a flashback scene, and it's very brief. I think the producers knew what I was thinking. It's a very important moment, and it's in a way that you wouldn't normally expect a dragon to be. Western dragons and Eastern dragons are different, but they all have one thing in common: they're agile. In this movie, we have a very unapologetically fat dragon, and it's almost walking around and lurching around to show how fat it is. It's kind of funny to see a huge dragon like that get really fat, and that part of the movie was really fun. Agent Chris Pine is a Harper's social justice worker whose wife is murdered by a TN character. Finding it difficult to make ends meet, he leaves the Harpers, which values honor, and joins Holga Michelle Rodriguez in thievery to raise their daughter, Kira Chloe Coleman. He teams up with Simon Justice Smith, a wizard, and Foggy Hugh Grant, a con artist. So far, they've never killed anyone, and they've mostly targeted the rich, so they've got a bit of a leg up. One day, Safina Daisy Head asks them to rob a very rich man's treasure house. I decline because of the risk, but when she tells me there's a magical tool in there that can bring my wife back to life, I agree. While robbing it, I get caught and spend the next 2 years trying to escape. He doesn't realize he's been pardoned, but when he escapes and gets out, he finds that Forge has become a castle lord, Safina is by his side, and he's not the same person he used to be. Not only that, but his daughter, Kira, thinks he's abandoned her and treats him coldly. It turns out that Forge is the cause of all this, and he has a secret, along with Safina, who is his enabler. To solve it, he needs to target a treasure trove, but he needs a new magic tool to avoid being found out, and while searching for it, he meets Jenk Page from the reggae scene, who he thinks is a Tane and not up to no good. But it turns out that he's a Harper's, like Ajin, who helps a lot of people. Jenk helps them find the tools, but only for a short time, and is joined by another elf, Doric Sophia Lillis. Doric has the ability to transform into various animals, insects, and more. And working as a team in this way is the same concept as in the game. Along the way, the movie is more colorful than I thought it would be, with some neat and colorful VFX. The magic of raising the dead, traveling through space and time, etc., is familiar, but it's presented in a fun way. Perhaps if the movie had been in a serious mode, it would have felt more childish. I think it was fun to have all these comical, delightful, witty scenes. There's a reason why Chris Pine is the main character. It's good to play a slightly serious but humorous character. The scene where they use their abilities to attack Sophia, a powerful wizard, together at the end feels like it was made with a lot of thought. There is also a cookie video after subtitles, but it doesn't hurt to watch it at all. It seems to be quite well received, so there may be a next series.